Bienvenidos a Taboo Talk Latina Edition. Yo soy Cynthia.
And I'm Jeanette. And here at Taboo Talks, we keep it real, raw, and rooted in our cultura. This is the space where we shed the silence, speak on the truth our abuelas were told to hide, and celebrate the stories that make us powerful mujeres.
From breaking generational cycles to confronting generational wounds and rewriting our narratives, we're here to talk about lo que nadie quiere decir, because our voices matter, our healing matters, and our beauty in all forms deserves to be seen.
Today's guest is a woman who it's not only changing the face of beauty, but making sure other Latinas have a seat at the table too.
We are so honored to welcome Emily Perez, a seasoned beauty executive, passionate DEI advocate, and the powerhouse founder of Latinas in Beauty, a groundbreaking organization committed to cultivating equity and building a thriving, inclusive communities for Latinas in the beauty industry.
With over 15 years of experience, she's helped shape brands, open doors, and mentor countless women. How about raising two boys with her husband in New Jersey? She's not just in the room, she's making waves and inviting others on the way in. Bienvenido. We're so grateful to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
We're so excited and we can't wait to hear your story and for our audience to get to know a little bit about who you are and how this all started for you.
Yes. So I am an immigrant from Brazil. I moved here when I was 10 years old. I navigated corporate America without the blueprint. So it was very important to me once I learned to take up space that I help others do as well and find their voice to advocate for themselves, for development, for salary, pay equity. So starting Latinas in Beauty is a passion of mine that led to my purpose. So I'm really excited to be here today to speak about that and how Latinas are transforming the beauty industry.
We love it. Yeah, thank you for being here, Emily. And we know that the beauty industry hasn't always been the most inclusive space, right? We all know that and we all see that still till today. You've witnessed and navigated a lot over your 15 plus years. What has been some of the biggest barriers for Latinas in this industry? And how has Latinas in Beauty helped break that free?
Yeah, so Latinas in general in the US over-index in beauty, right? We know that Latinas buy a lot of products within the beauty industry and we're driving market growth. On the other end, we are extremely underrepresented across the industry. So while Latinas alone make up 10% of the population, we only make up 1% of the executive C-suite. We are underrepresented as beauty brand founders at retail. And also as creators, the Latino population at large is only represented about 6% in media. Latinas in Beauty is providing access to the network, resources, and funding that we need to meet both our professional and entrepreneurial goals, because we understand the barriers that it takes not only for Latinas, but BIPOC women and people in general to enter the beauty industry. And so that is important to us to create community, right? Because I think your network is your net worth. So being in rooms with individuals that understand the power of opening doors for others really creates that ripple effect of getting more Latinas in the room to lift each other up.
And I think that's powerful. That's something I still haven't come across yet. And I've been doing, women empowering for quite a couple of years now. And it's very beautiful to see what you're doing and the space that you've created for other women and Latinas overall to come together and feel like they can own their voice and that they have support too, because I feel like what we don't know, we can act upon, right? So if we don't get educated on this stuff, then we're like, no, I should get paid more. I should do this. I should use that. I feel like we have to have something like you, a platform that can redirect us.
Right. Because for me, the way I transformed myself, and it was a journey, like I'm going to be extremely honest with you, not having the individuals within my inner circle to help me show up authentically and boldly in the beginning of my career held me back a little bit, because I would enter spaces, room full of men as a young Latina, and I would take the chairs on the outside of the room and not while the seat was open at the table, right? So really even walking into those spaces. So I proudly share that with the young Latinas that are within the corporate world that I'm in and with Latinas in Beauty, so they can feel like because she did it, I can do it too. And I deserve to be in these spaces. I've earned to be here, right? Not only did I get the education to be here, but I also passed the interview. They hired me. They wanted me to be here. So
Yeah.
let me take up space. Let me share my knowledge. Let me, even if my voice is shaking, let me get my thought out. Let me add to the conversation and change that narrative. But through Latinas in Beauty, we are having that conversation because we're bringing in the experts, right? Because what I love about this community, it is like-minded Latinas that are coming together that understand the power of collaboration over competition. And I think that that's also that power of community that you were talking about, Jeanette, is that we understand that in order for us to move forward, we have to support each other. That's at the forefront. Like we have to come in and share because guess what? Other people, other communities are doing that. So we as Latinas need to own that and say, you know what? There's room for all of us. We each have our own path. By supporting each other's how we're going to get to the top. Because guess what? There's only 1% of us up there. There's room for more of us.
I
Preach.
love that, yes. And what sparked the interest in Latinas and beauty?
So Latinas in Beauty, I started as a, believe it or not, as a Instagram post 4 years, over a little bit over 4 years ago. I am on the corporate side of the business, and every Hispanic Heritage Month, you get the data about the power of the Latino consumer. Right. So if you understand the power at large as a demographic, right, we're one of the fastest growing demographic. We make up 19% of the US population. Our purchasing power is at like $3.4 trillion, the fifth largest GDP. Like the data is there, right? So the data has always been there. But on the beauty side of the space is where I started to see that the data that we're sharing is that Latinas over index. We over purchase beauty products. We are driving market growth. But I wasn't seeing us in these rooms, right? So I'm like, we have to be out there. So I went seeking for a community in hopes that I would donate some of my time to mentor because mentorship is extremely important to me. So I was like, okay, an organization has to exist where I'm going to go and I'm going to donate my time. I'm going to mentor and I'm going to empower the next generation. After doing a lot of research, I didn't find it. It did not exist. So after sitting on it for a little bit, I felt this calling to be like, why not me? I saw the strength in the network that I had cultivated and created with Latina leaders across the industry. And I was like, I know I can rely on them to show up for me because I know that for them it's also important to elevate the next generation. So I went boldly, I created it, and I grew organically through other Latinas that wanted to be in community. They were seeking this organization. So slowly but surely, it grew from an Instagram page to a full blown LLC organization where I collaborated with other Latinas in the industry. So our first event being with the Luna Magic brand, where we hosted our Hispanic Heritage Month event in 2022. Also creating networking opportunities both in New York and LA, where people were seeking community and they were showing up. And then last year, I connected with two other powerhouses in the beauty industry to transform and relaunch Latinas in Beauty as a nonprofit. We were separately, so Margarita Arriagada and Nadine Tapia, they're both founding board members of Latinas in Beauty as a now full-blown 501c3 nonprofit organization, which is like huge to,
Yeah.
I'm super proud of what we're building. Um, and together we are now transforming the industry because it takes a lot of effort, a lot of opportunities to enter these doors. We're knocking now on the doors of a lot of organizations to say, hey, we are a community that will bridge your organization authentically with the community that are so desperately seeking to be seen by this industry.
I love that.
Kudos to you for doing something that wasn't out there. I know it's hard. I've been there. And, it takes a lot of power, it takes a lot of will, and without knowing the outcome, right? Because we never know what to expect. But you already knew, you already sensed there was a market out there and that it was needed. So thank you for building it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that, and I'm sure, Jeanette, you can testify to this. Everyone that we invite, they saw either a problem with no solution or they saw something that didn't exist and they made it happen. So
Yeah.
I love that you did that, that you were like, wait, this doesn't exist. So let me build that path.
Yeah. And I think what I would want others, other young Latinas to know is that you don't have to wait or ask for permission, right? You don't have to wait for a title. You don't have to wait to get to a certain point in your career in order to do it. Do it. Other people will see it. And while you may think you're making a small impact, it is a large impact to somebody else, right? So when I started and I was, going one person, I was alone when I was doing this for the first 4 years. And, without getting paid, it was literally a passion project because I wanted to elevate this community. And I was opening doors, I was creating opportunities. And while I felt like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough, hearing the stories of these individuals that I, supported or provided opportunities, seeing what it meant to them and how it helped them not only professionally, but also in their building of their brands, that's the fuel that kept me going every day.
Yeah, it hits different. It hits different and it gives you, like you said, even though financially it's not moving, you know you're building something much bigger than that.
Exactly.
That's powerful. And I love that you didn't just rise in your career, but you turned around and created a path for others, like I mentioned. What has it meant to you build Latina in beauty? And what are some of the ways you're mentoring and empower other mujeres to thrive?
For me, every day I get chills just to be in community with these powerhouses, but also, young Latinas, because I always think of myself when I first started. And, that was like in the early 2000s. And opportunities like this just didn't exist. Obviously, social media wasn't what it is today. But really seeing how, the individuals that I mentor individually, um, how they take back the insights that you shared and how you see them evolve over time in that confidence in how they're showing up. I had one recently, she received a new job and she said, Emily, I pay equity was important to me. I listened to the mentorship that you provided. I did, learning, understanding the market. I was going to ask for X, but I added a little bit more because I knew I was already shortchanging myself and I just wanted to put myself up there. And she was like, they came back and they even gave me more. So I think, like, when it comes to money and things like that, I know we are culturally just don't speak a lot about that. And I think that keeps us from growing. So having those conversations is important. But from a Latinas in beauty perspective, it really is, we host mentoring moments, opportunities throughout the month. We have one that is now with Marlena Higuera. She's the CEO of Noise, and she comes once a month. She hosts a mentoring session and individuals come in and we're in that space. You can see how it's a safe space. We feel like we are sisters, cousins, family, and we're sharing our lived experience in a way that we don't see it in other areas of this industry. So and we leave these rooms and we leave these conversations more empowered, not only for ourselves, but for our community, and then to give back, right? To say, hey, I can mentor too. So it's like spreading the impact.
Yeah, it's planting those seeds. And that's beautiful to see too, because I know a lot, especially here in Miami, a lot of events and they're more like networking and we're going to refer and here's my business card. But what happens after you're done with your networking? There's not like that mentorship aspect. There's no personal growth. You might not even speak to that person again, right? You don't leave fulfilled, right? Maybe business wise, but that only lasts a second. So
Mhm.
what you have established is powerful because it's needed. And those conversations is something we're targeting with finance, with Taboo Talks too, because I feel as Latina and as women, we don't talk about finance because we didn't hear it growing up. And that's something powerful that, again, we need to continue to embrace because how are we going to invest? How are we going to open businesses? How are we going to continue to do what we love if we are not fully educated? Again,
Exactly. Yeah,
value.
and at the beginning of the year, we launched our paid membership community for Latinas in beauty. And again, it's for corporate professionals, entrepreneurs, creatives, creators. If you do something in the industry, this is a community for you. So, it's broad in that way. And I think we're unique from an organization perspective to make it a open to a broader community because we see the power in just the collaboration. But in that space is where you have an opportunity to connect with Latinas 24/7 is a platform. And in there is where the magic is happening because people are asking questions, people are asking for connections to collaborate, and they are sharing information. And I think that, um, It's an investment that you need to make in yourself to be in the space in the rooms to open opportunities for you and as you enter the industry, as you look to grow in the industry, but also so people know who you are. Latinas through these conversations, we've had two Latinas that were hired by being in the room. So opportunities are happening organically in these spaces.
100%. That's beautiful.
It's amazing. And now we're gonna switch gears a little. Let's get into it. Pelo malo. I know we spoke about this before we pressed play. So pelo malo, skin tone shame, and white beauty standards. We've all felt the pressure to look a certain way just to be seen as beautiful. How have these unspoken rules shaped how Latinas view themselves in the beauty space, and what needs to change?
So I think that is rooted in our upbringing. So I lived the first 10 years of my life in Brazil and I've lived it, I've seen it, and I know the reality of what's happening in a lot of spaces. Not, I'm not going to say it's everyone because we are not a monolith, right? We're a very diverse demographic and community. But, growing up, my family did look up to the Eurocentric beauty standards. And in my family, we go from white to black and everything in between, right? Because I think that that's the richness of a lot of us. My older sister, she is blonde, green eyes, and I am a little bit darker with, at that time, believe it or not, I had straight hair when I was younger.
I
You know,
believe
we're
you.
girls now, so that definitely surprises me.
That was in the, like the hair wasn't, but I definitely, there's those little jabs, those little like, conversations of like, that as a young child, is you perceive that she's perceived as being more beautiful than you are. And I see a lot of that even, with my friends and, the conversation on Pelomalo and a lot of the Latina owned brands that are changing that narrative, Akoa, Pelo Updo, these curls, and really having that conversation of embracing your curls. And I think it's important that we acknowledge that I believe is the conversation shifts per generation. And I believe, and what I'm starting to see is that more millennials and Gen Zs are embracing their roots and, their culture and their ancestors and the differences and the beauty in that. And I think by leading that, we are going to change the narrative in the beauty industry at large, because I think are no longer hiding or feeling that we need to be Eurocentric and are starting to embrace more of our curls, our looks, and more products are being made with us in mind from an innovation perspective, or even like the Latino owned brands that are entering the market that are embracing their culture and leading boldly in that space.
Yeah, I love that. And it's also the conditioning, like you said, of how we grew up. Because, like, for me, Dominican background, my mom would always tell me, like, straighten your hair or you're going to look ugly, you're going to be perceived differently, and you're going to look unprofessional. Like, my whole corporate career, I had my hair straight until recently. I'm like embracing my curls, like you said. Thankfully, we have these resources and these products like Ocoa, Riso Curls. So I'm so glad that they're paving that way and that these resources and products are available to us that before, years ago, was not available.
Right. Yeah. And I think, that conversation in the corporate world and how you show up, right? We want people in general to show up authentically. And so, that conversation is shifting. But believe it or not, I now have embraced my curly hair because it's back to being full and lusciously curly. But sometimes having straight hair just works easier for me, right? I have two
Yeah.
boys. I am a working mom and I am doing Latinas in beauty. So sometimes straight I can last longer because I have thin curly hair. So like they pretty much fall out in like a day or two. So even like entering these spaces, I remember when it was my first job out of college, and I would change between straight and curly. And somebody said to me, my boss actually at the time said, "Which Emily is showing up today?"
Wow.
I was like,
Wow.
Mm.
"The same one." Just different hair, right? And I think that's the beauty of having textured hair is that you have that opportunity to be creative with your hair and change it and embrace it and do whatever look you want for that day.
Wow, that's crazy. I wouldn't even leave my hair curly. I would just straighten it all the time. I would not leave my hair curly. it was straight because I was so afraid if I showed up with curly hair, they were gonna think less of me, or what I had to bring to the table wasn't valuable enough. I mean, we all know how corporate America runs, right? And another thing that I would do, I have a few tattoos, I would cover them. Because growing up, my grandfather would tell me like, "Oh, like tattoos are for like ghetto people, like people who are in jail." So that conditioning, my first corporate job, I covered my tattoos for like 2, 3 years because I was like, what are they gonna say if they see like a little bit of my tattoo? They're gonna think that what I bring to the table is not worthy enough.
Right. Yeah, no, I can see that. And I think one of the things too, talking about the conditioning is, why do I get more compliments when my hair is straight than when it's curly? Right. So
Yeah.
like even like that is happening to adults, but it also is happening to children because I see that with my nieces when their hair is straight. It's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. But it's also beautiful when it's curly.
Mm.
Let's give people with textured hair the same compliments we give when they are wearing straight hair. So it changes that mindset that like I am beautiful with both styles.
And I love that because I feel like Latina, we keep hearing that we have that pretty privilege, right? That we were born beautiful. And we don't talk about it as often on how much it really affects us growing
Mhm.
up. So from your perspective with everything you've built, right? How do you see it showing up in corporate beauty or in our own communities? Like how can we shift the narrative and create space for all kind of beauty, especially for our Afro Latina sisters?
Yeah, I think, is for me, it is important that our Afro Latina sisters feel seen and feel a part of this organization because it is, they are a part of it. And we, as the overarching larger community, need to support them, need to show up for them and give them those compliments and share their stories and share their social media, their Instagram, because they are the ones that are now empowering those young girls, right? The young girls that are on social media and now see themselves in ways that they've never seen before, right? Because we are still not on our TVs. We are still not in these beauty campaigns. We are not in movies. So social media, I think, is a way where we can boldly embrace who we are. For me, sometimes I do, I'm wearing a hot pink lipstick today from Luna Magic, which like I love, but I don't wear it all the time. Right. So like I've taken upon myself now to be conscious of that and put it on and wear it and be proud that I am Latina, I am loud, I am colorful, I am all of these things, but I am also professional. Right. I am also leading and changing through this organization. So there's different ways of us being able to change that narrative and be who we needed to see when we were young for that next generation.
Yes.
Think
Yes.
even more, I don't want to get political, but with what's happening right now, I don't want us to dim our light. I want us to show up even more boldly.
Yeah.
That's beautiful said. And two things I want to touch on what you said about showing up, right? And I feel that we are scared to show up because how we see other people showing up, it's probably the image that we think we should be showing up as. So we end up not showing up because we feel like, oh, who's going to watch me? Or I don't look as pretty, or I don't have makeup on. I have my filter is horrible, right? And I feel like we don't fully embrace it because of that. And I'm sure you ladies can agree. And the other thing I wanted to was when you said about lipstick. Every time I wear red lipstick, people are like, why don't you wear it more often? But to me, it's always been like, no quiero llamar mucho la atención, right? Same thing with my nails. I never do them red, not even for the holidays. I just wanted to do them red. And even my husband was like, wow, why don't you do them red more often? I'm like, I don't know. I just don't like to llamar la atención. And he said, why do you say that? And that kind of just stayed in my mind of like, why do we say that? Right? Like, I don't want to wear like too much lipstick or I don't want to wear like too heavy nail polish. Right. But it's rooted within us.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's because we are not seeing that in the spaces that we're in, right? Because, I'm still quite often the only woman, the only person of color, the only Latina in a lot of these spaces. So we are still not seeing ourselves boldly showing up in these ways. And I agree with you, not of like not, taking, the attention and showing up that way. But, after this conversation, I'll make sure to wear this lipstick more often.
I know, I was gonna say now I wanna wear red lipstick. We need to take up space, like, that's something that we keep seeing saying, especially here at Taboo Talk, we're like, we're going to take up space, and we're gonna walk into rooms where they've never seen us,
Yeah.
where we belong, like, we keep saying that over and over, and it's also too, right, if we think about it, like, the way we grew up, like, our parents, right, the way we saw them, they were kind of, like, on this, like, hustle mode, right? Be quiet, just go to work, do what's enough, and then that's it. So I think because we saw that growing up, I'm sure you ladies can relate. We're like, oh, we don't want to take up too much space, right? I don't want to wear that red lipstick because I'm going to attract the attention to me. And, I look back at my mom, right? She was like hustling. She was just so focused and working and providing for her family. So I think that's the conditioning that we need to break.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
No, I
100%.
think like I can talk about that. I'm very passionate about that topic because a lot of us are first generation professionals entering these spaces, and that is our upbringing, and that was mine. And I struggled for a very long time of taking up space because it was like, I should be grateful, right? I should be grateful I have this job. I should not be asking for more. I should not be asking for more opportunities. I should just sit here, do my job, and it will show up for itself. And what I've learned over the years is that no, 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 no. You have to be your biggest advocate. You need to boast about yourself a lot and often because while your managers may mean well, they're busy. They're busy doing their own things. And if you don't keep them informed of all your achievements, everything that you're doing, and your intentions, and how you want to grow and where you want your career to go, you need to be in the driver's seat of that. And we need to crack through changing that cultural upbringing of ours to say, no, we need to. Yes, I am grateful. Got myself through college, or that I got this corporate opportunity, or that I am, a hairstylist for profession, for others. But it's like I can be more. I can do more. I can grow, and I can put myself in opportunities for growth. I grew internally because I raised my hand and I put myself in these spaces. I was of service to not only my bosses, but also through other organizations internally that for a lot of us, you have the employee resource groups in a lot of organizations now that are driving a lot of these initiatives that are employee led. That changed the trajectory of my growth in my current position because I raised my hand because I wanted to give back. I wanted to create spaces and opportunities for others, both internally and externally. So that really also allows you to kind of be in spaces with other individuals that will help you change that mindset.
Love that.
I love that, yeah. And what is one taboo that you are still trying to break free from? This is always a tricky
I
question.
know that for me, I feel like I show up differently in different spaces. And one of the taboos that I think I still face is just being a loud, fun, like, especially in the corporate world, right? Showing up in that way of just having fun, being loud. I love to dance. So like there's music or something like that. I'm just like, like you can see, like I speak a lot with my hands,
Yeah.
but really just like in that freedom of just like showing up fully in that sense, because I do still feel that the taboo of that Latinas face in the corporate world of being too loud, of being too emotional, of being, too sensitive, too passionate, which I think are all positive attributes in a leader and in an employee.
Yep,
I'm
100%.
so glad you mentioned that because to ourselves, to all the listeners, it's a reminder that even with everything you've built and everything you just share and everybody you mentor, you still go through it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it because people are like, "Oh, you already made it. Look, you look amazing. You're glowing. You have so much going on for you." They forget you're human and you still fall on those same traps and that you're still working on your work in progress,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that because that is so needed and that's like a highlight that we need to make sure we put out there
Yes.
because it continues to remind us that no matter what stage you're in, you're always trying to heal and you're always trying to break taboos.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. And what advice would you give to your Latina friend who's struggling with her beauty standards?
For me is be yourself and see yourself where you are, right? While I have what I would say a full beat on today, I am normally not like this. I am a minimalist at heart, I think, and embracing that we are all unique, we are all different, and that is the beauty of the individual.
I love that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. So, okay, Emily, it's that time, La Tia Chismosa moment. If you're Tia, the one who always judging your pelo, your lipstick, your career choices, could see the women you are today, leaning a powerful movement, changing, building legacy, and redefining beauty on your own terms. ¿Qué tú crees que ella diría?
It's a funny moment because I posted something on my Instagram and LinkedIn a couple of days ago where I shared my journey from, my high school, being a high school dreamer to building an organization that's transforming the beauty industry. And my tias in Brazil all commented of how proud they are that their little girl, that they help raise in Brazil has gone on this journey to be the strong woman that she is and breaking through the barriers and the challenges that she faced to come on the other side strong.
Love that. Yes. That was a good one.
Yeah, I was like, that resonates because it actually just did happen.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and again, it shows to us that we go through it, We still have that support of the family, even though we sometimes feel like family don't support us. They're always watching us.
They're always watching and they're proud because I think we're living their dreams. I think we need to acknowledge and take that on. I got immediate chills because we are given opportunities that perhaps they weren't, and we are living a life beyond their dreams. So to see a family member, that they be who they want to be and lead in such a way, I think is just really proud opportunity for them.
It is. It is. They might not know how to express it because they don't know better. We can't blame them if they didn't even congratulate us. Or, my mom puts on our TikTok a lot of like applaud.
Yes, I love it when her mom does that.
We could be talking about moms and she's still applaud, even if it's some not negative because we don't share anything negative, but overall, just like she doesn't understand the English that we're sharing and she still supports it. And to me, it's just like she recognized that, but she doesn't tell me face to face how proud she is. But I know she does. So it's a reminder again that we're not alone in that, but they're watching us and they're proud of us.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Her mom is like our biggest supporter. My mom the other day told me like, "Oh, you're recording yourself now with your curly hair?" Like, she was almost like confused, and I said, "Yeah, mom, I'm transitioning, to my natural like beauty. I want to, leave my hair curly." And she was like, "Oh, I love it. Like,
Aw.
keep doing that."
They're
So,
watching.
yeah, our moms, our parents, they're
And they
for
have their
sure.
own unique way of showing it, but yeah, I agree with you. They're watching it and they're proud.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, before we wrap up, Emily, can you please tell our listeners where they can find you and, of course, Latina in Beauty, and if you have any exciting projects or events coming up?
Yeah, so we're excited. So you can find Latinas in Beauty both on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, on latinasinbeauty.org. I invite everyone to join our membership platform. We are excited that we are attending the largest beauty trade show, Cosmoprof in Las Vegas next week. So we'll be both showcasing and hosting a mixer. So that's super, super exciting. We've recently launched our beauty accelerator with Pepperdine University. So applications are open. It is the first week in September, so the 4th through the 6th, a 3-day immersive program where we are providing everyone. So the program is open to everyone. And through a partnership with Nordstrom, we are scholarshiping 10 Latina in beauty members to attend this program. So full scholarship to attend. And it's really an opportunity where we are, again, sitting very closely with the providing access. We are providing access to the education. So really what it takes you, and this is both for entrepreneurs and professional, for you to grow your business, but also your career. And we are also providing access to the network. So we're bringing in a lot of the leaders in the space from CEOs, investors, retailers to be in the space in the room with you. So this is a transformative program for us. So we invite everybody to join. Again, you can learn more at latinasinbeauty.org.
Gosh, that's beautiful.
Amazing.
Congratulations on all of that. And thank you for
Yes.
continuing to pour more into the community. We will for sure put everything on the show note for whoever missed out on anything or is interested. Of course, I know your DMs are open and
Yes.
emails if you have any questions. Emily, thank you for being a leader, a mentor, and an advocate. Your work is creating real change. And we're so proud to uplift it here. You're here helping so many mujeres step into rooms they never imagined themselves in. So this is a reminder for them that they belong, but also for you of what an amazing job you're doing. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for seeing me and seeing us and being a part of elevating us. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And you have 100% our support. And to our beautiful taboo breakers tuning in, this is your reminder that you are worthy, seen, and powerful just as you are. Keep on learning, keep rising, and keep showing up for yourself and your dreams.
And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Y como siempre, chicas, we'll see you next time on Taboo Talk Latina Edition, where we keep breaking cycles, breaking silence, and breaking those taboos.